and before I say this, I like Novitzky as a person, and I do think he's a good person, but somewhere along the way, remember, this is the guy who went through, I think it was Barry Bonds' trash to find fucking PD kind of evidence. This is a guy who caught Lance Armstrong. So he obviously wants the best back then for mankind and sports performance enhancing drugs. And then he comes over to the UFC. And you guys got to realize something is when he came to the UFC, the Fertittas and Dana brought USADA on because if you're going to sell that brand, you need, obviously drug testing and PEDs is an issue. So you got to say, all right, we're going to make it a legit sport. We're going to make it this sanctioned body that's super strict to get rid of that. Because all that does, that's like putting nicer rims on a car when you're going to sell the car. Because that goes to these huge bidders go, all right, at least they have this regulatory body that's going to take care of that. Because it's an issue, but listen, they have this now. So that's going to help with that. All right, check. We don't have to worry about that, check. So they brought USADA on for that reason. So then somewhere along the way, we think that USADA is the end-all, be-all. And I've always told you guys, have super skeptical hippo eyes when it comes to USADA. They're not the end-all, be-all. You're crazy if you think they're just good people and they're doing what's best for the sport. Somewhere along the lines, Jeff Novitzky switched. Went from the golden snitch to the golden rat. And he became an employee of the UFC. And now he has an office in the UFC building. So when guys fail test, who do you think finds out about it first? You guys? Me? No. Dana and the UFC brass finds out first. And then they figure out how to manage it best. The commissions and the state commissions will find out about it, but you bet your sweet ass Novitzky's going to be able to find out before anyone else, no matter what they tell you, and they can do damage control within the UFC realm. That's how this works. So that being said, when Novitzky and Dana come out together, you shouldn't look at this as, oh, he's the representative of USADA and Dana's the representative of the UFC. No, you should look at this as this is the UFC talking to you to try to play damage control on this situation. Jeff Novitzky, I almost call him Dirk Nowitzki. Jeff Novitzky is no longer the face of USADA, meaning he is no longer the guy we hold in that high regard. He has flipped now. Somewhere along the way, I don't know when it happened, money or whatever it was, he flipped. And now you can no longer trust what he says. And you go, why, Brendan? How the fuck can you say that? Because Frank Mir failed for the exact same thing as Jon Jones. You know what happened to Frank Mir? He got a 2-year suspension. And you know what Frank said to them? Well, could this have been something I've done previously that it came out because I didn't take anything? They went, nope, no way possible. Doesn't work that way. 2-year suspension. Get the fuck out of here. Jon Jones fails the same test, and now his metabolites are even stronger than what he failed for previously. He had a 2-year ban, and now they're strong, and they go, oh, it's something he took from 18 months ago. It's just popping out again. But whoa, hold on. And this is Novitzky saying this, and Dana saying this. Hold on. But Frank said the same thing months ago. I know. Then it didn't work. But why does it work now? Well, because, the sanctioned bodies, and we've had a lot of experts. Really? Who? Oh, and then guess what, man? Oh, you guys aren't going to believe this. Nevada won't sanction it because it's the holidays. And so we got to take the event from Las Vegas on a week's notice and change it to Los Angeles. Why? Because Nevada needs more time to look into it. Yeah, but if it's just a common mishap and you talk to all these experts and Novitzky, who works for USADA, said it's all good, why isn't Nevada saying it's all good? They don't have enough time. Go figure. Yep. Oh, okay. So you're going to switch it for everyone, just for Jon Jones? Yeah, I know. Okay, but again, I'm just going to go back from previous statements. Dana, didn't you say he'll never be a main event? I know. But now you're switching the entire card over to Los Angeles? I know. But look, Novitzky says he's good. There's no way it could have happened. All right. So what's the excuse you give us? Listen, the half-life of this from 18 months ago pops up now. I'm not a drug expert. By no means. I know you guys are like, what? You're not a drug expert? I'm not. Just not, man. Not my thing. Not my forte. But what I am is I'm not gullible. I'm not stupid. So look up any drug, any steroid you want. Look at the half-lives. Doesn't work that way. They do not work that way. That's pretty, if you do your research, then there's some common sense out there. Shout out to whoever sent me the link to the Underground. Shout out to the Underground boys who sent me the link on, there's actual guy who does do steroid testing and he's in that field that broke this all down. He's like, it's just not possible, man. It's just not. It doesn't work like this. It just the way they're trying to flip it to the media, just the steroids don't work this way. And also it's his metabolites were stronger than the previous one.
Whoa.
And then if you talk to Victor Conte, who I would say has his black belt in steroids and doping and all that stuff, he knows his shit. So when Jones failed the first time, he looked over all his drug tests. He looked over them and goes, I see, compared to DC's, he goes, DC's is normal. That's normal range. Also, we know DC's never done anything. But when you look at John's, there's something going on with how low his testosterone, how it jumps these levels. Well, that's not normal in a person. You go, oh, it's overtraining. Not to that degree, it's not. So there's something where his levels have been manipulated with. There's something going on there. And is it far-fetched to think John's doing something and he has more access and resources to high-level designer steroids than anybody else on the UFC roster? Why, you ask? His brothers, who have both failed steroid tests in the NFL. There's no one higher in the NFL as far as working with scientists and steroids. They have all the money in the world. Well, money is what gets you past drug tests. And then for John to, again, I listed off all those things. The hit and run, the not training for Gustafsson. He basically trained for 2 weeks, got in shape, and still had that amazing fight. This wild card, this guy, the hit and run, the car accident, the dick pills, the girls, the drugs, the cocaine. He's that wild outside the cage. You're telling me a guy of that attitude and that morale wouldn't do steroids? You're telling me there's no crossover there? And now I just read to you or read off a bunch of shit that he's done of horrible things. And now he's been flagged 3 times since you saw this happen. We're going to chalk this up as, dude, it's an old metabolite that 18 months ago popped up. But it's never happened before. It did kind of happen with Frank Mir. What happened to him? 2-year suspension. And it hasn't happened before. It happened with Tom Lawler. What happened to him? 2-year suspension. Then he was cut. And then Jon Jones flags this test the week of the fight, and you switch the venues? Okay. Oh, cool, man. Nah, he's a good dude. I'm sure there's nothing going on there. No, I'm sure Novitzky and Dana, although they work all together, I'm sure that it's all good. There's no shadiness at all. I'm sure he's not doing anything. On what fucking planet do you come from? Maybe you're Aquaman, that planet. What fucking world do you come from where this isn't suspect to you? Now, I see a lot of people up in arms and they're like, oh, this is bullshit, and the UFC's fucked us over, and especially people that bought tickets to Vegas, and you know, there's a bunch of, especially in the media, they can't change their plans and their obligations and the hotels and the tickets. It just doesn't work. So they fucked over all those people. And then it comes out where John got busted again, but it's all good. We're still gonna let him fight, and everyone's up in arms. But at the end of the day, the UFC knows you're not gonna do shit about it. You're not going to do shit about it. You still going to watch the fight, Chin?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You still going to watch the fight? Yeah. Yeah, you are. Brendan, you still going to watch the fight? I mean, I got to work. But I'll probably illegally stream it now. No, just kidding. But I'll watch it in the back. I have shows at the Ice House. I'm definitely, and I'll watch it again the next day because I got to break it down for you guys eventually. So I'll watch it. What are you guys going to do about it? They know you're not going to do shit about it. Now, I'm not saying let's protest the UFC and fuck the UFC and burn our fight kits and not order pay-per-view and get rid of our fight passes. I'm not saying that. But if you want to prove some sort of message that this is not okay in our sport, if you want to say, all right, we're not stupid, man, we're not buying this, what you're doing is fucked up. Not only is it fucked up, but you got to think about how this affects every other fighter on the card. Cutting weight. You look at Corey Anderson's like, hold up. His tweet was brilliant. But I don't know if I retweeted or not, but I read it. Shout out to Corey Anderson. I think he put, hold up. I've been in a shit airport in Newark with my pregnant wife who's 7 months pregnant. And we've been on delays and we fly all the way across country to Vegas. And then I'm told, hey, figure it out because now you got to get to fucking LA. There's no compensation. Most people found out via social media. Because at the end of the day, the UFC doesn't give a shit what you guys think. Corey, you're a phenomenal fighter. Guess what, bro? You don't sell 100,000 pay-per-views, so you don't matter. This is the UFC talking, not me. This is the way they view it. All right, cool, man. Go somewhere else. As long as we can get our pay-per-view nut off Jon Jones, we don't give a fuck what the rest of you do. The fans, you in Vegas, you ain't gonna do shit. We'll see you next year. We're back here in January. It's gonna sell out. So what can you do? Well, what you can do is not buy the pay-per-view Saturday night just to prove a point. I'm not saying ban the UFC. I'm not saying don't watch the UFC for the rest of your life. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you want to prove a point, you do not order Saturday's card. Say, we're not cool with this. This is fucked up. Yeah, but it really affect me, man. And Gus is still going to find this what happens. That's fine. Make all the excuses you want. But if you are seriously upset about this, then don't order the pay-per-view. Because guess what? For the UFC, any publicity is good publicity. Any publicity that gets them on Sports Center and Fox and TMZ grabs the casuals. Casuals like, oh, I want to see this fuck up fight Gus Finn now. All right, I'm going to buy it now. And they're hoping, even though they're losing millions of dollars by changing the gate, millions and millions of dollars from going from T-Mobile to the Forum, they know that even though this is negative, they're going to sell more pay-per-views, and they hope they cover their ass that way. Because they know you guys, me included, you're not going to do shit. We're like battered. We're like fucking Rachel Ostovich. You're not going to do shit. Yeah, you can punch me in the eye. All right, I'll see you tomorrow night. Yeah, slap me around. All right, cool, I'll see you tomorrow night. Because there's never been another recourse. We've never done anything else. No one's ever stuck up to them. No one's ever done shit. They treat Ariel Helwani like shit. He puts his tail between his legs, goes away. The outcry, finally like, all right, fuck it, come back. You can't do anything, man. You guys do have the power. But at the end of the day, do you really care that much? We'll see what the pay-per-view numbers say. I would say no one's really that interested in Jon Jones, whether he's cheating or not. And the UFC, and we can tell by putting fucking Greg Hardy and Rachel Ostovich on the same card, as long as that creates some sort of media, you guys eat it up, and hopefully that gives them some sort of pay-per-view buy or some sort of ESPN Plus buy. That's their business model now. It's dirty as shit. But it's working, I guess. And also, why do you think it's so important that they have this card before the end of the year? Does anyone think about that? Do you not think it'd be smart for them to go, if, let's say Nevada, and I'm going to get to Nevada's commission. Let's say, I'm on one today. Let's say Nevada's commission goes, dude, we can't do it this week. It's holiday, whatever. We can't get to you. We'll do it next week. Let's just change to next week. We can still have it here. You won't lose your nut. We'll figure it out. But that's past the end of the year. But that goes in 2019. We got to cover our nut for 2018 because we're on a loss right now. And this pay-per-view, and the reason why we're changing it is because we know Jon Jones' pay-per-view numbers. No one's bigger than Conor and Khabib. That's the biggest pay-per-view they've ever done. It's been an awful, I don't care how you paint it. I don't care what Dana tells you, the Ultimate Fighters. I don't give a fuck what you did. It's been a bad year for them. Number-wise, Fox Sports, it's been a fucking nightmare. A nightmare, man. If you didn't have Conor, think about their numbers. In the fucking gutter. The ratings have been down all over the place. Fox has been a nightmare. It's the last year. Things have been bad. There's been no stars. John's been out. Conor's fought in boxing, was out 2 years, then fought Khabib. So at least you have Khabib Conor. Outside that, it's a shit show. They've been losing their ass. They have this big fucking nut they have to cover with WME. If this pay-per-view does not happen, they have to show a huge loss for 2018. So they're doing by any means necessary to make sure this card happens before January 1st. That's why this is happening. There are different motives behind this. Even though Jon Jones is flagged again, even for the sake of Novitzky and his reputation, USADA, which will all be a fucking in the past in a few years, all that is a sacrifice to cover this financial nut before January 1st, 2019 on the record books. So they can go to the WME, who wants to get rid of the UFC, who's not happy with it, and go, look, man, it's not that bad. We got John. We got him for the rest of the year, bro. Brock Lesnar can come back. Maybe DC and him. So like, all right, ESPN's like, all right, cool. Yeah, this will be good. There's different motives going on here, man. And bridges being burned all along the way. Novitzky's entire reputation done.